Song is kind of like, I mean, if I could use the imagery thing again, this is a bit of an afterthought, but it's like, you know, a bird in flight. So it starts off very quiet and mellow, and even though that guitar thing's going the whole time, the dynamic gets a little bigger, and Pete and Chris start to do different things, and Brandon plays the melody, and then he takes a solo, and the whole song is just kind of this crescendoing arc until the end when it comes back down. So
yeah, the foreground of the song is dominated by Brandon's solo.
Yeah.
Well, I think that takes Eastern Horizon.
Sure.
I find the bass line in that song absolutely fascinating, and I know that it wasn't improvised. It was clearly composed.
At the beginning,
there is a section during the middle of the song where Chris came up with the bass line, and that was a big reason we did a few takes of that song, and he only played it on the one that you'll hear on the record, and we just thought it was so great that there was no way it couldn't make it on the record. We had to have it on there. So
a big thing for us is has been as a group kind of exploring things together, and one of those things is odd time signatures, and so that tune's in 7, and the Eastern Horizon thing kind of comes from harmonic minor flavor in the melody and harmony, and yeah, I mean, I had a specific bass line as part of the melody section, but then it's free to go wherever, and Chris did a great job of coming up with some cool ideas, and he and Pete created some really nice palettes for Brandon and I to blow over on that one.
That's a nice piece. Now Zach has promised to talk to Pete a little bit about his song. So here's the list of songs on the album.
which one does that write again?
I remember, actually.
Okay.
Let's start with The Verge. What was the inspiration behind that tune?
Oh boy, you know, where do I start? I also wanted to kind of have a song that had a lot of different sections, and of course wasn't going to be in 4/4. And I just remember kind of racking my brain how I was going to make it all come together, and pretty much in one evening I came up with all the sections, so it was kind of just like pieces. You probably remember that. And then I brought it into the band, and we kind of took the pieces and moved them around until we found something that sounded good to us. So right now on the record, when you listen to it, that's how the pieces fit.
And Inversion is the Condition.
That song, I actually, that's another one that I wanted to have really dense harmony. I wanted to have really lush chords. And when I wrote it, I actually didn't have any particular group in mind for playing it. I just wrote it because I wanted to hear it. And it ended up sounding so good with this band that, we've been playing it for what, a year? A little over a year.
Wow.
And yeah, so once again, Atlantis Quartet put their special treatment on the song, and we cut and pasted and moved everything, not after we recorded it, but then arranged it to the point that we liked and recorded it.
As a drummer, how do you deal with the hurdle of composing harmony and melody parts of a song?
It's tricky because I didn't start out on a melodic instrument. I started out playing the drums, and I soon realized if I wanted to get any further than that, I'd have to learn the language of music. So for me, it's difficult. I just really try to go for a clear sound of what I'm hearing. Like, I might just take an hour and get a coffee and sit and really try to think about what I want to hear. And once I have kind of a good idea of it, I try to get it out on a piano or a sequencer or a banjo or whatever I can, and then I write it down. And it's always, even after I'm done writing a song, I don't feel like it's finished, just because of the players, you know, and you know that pretty well, I think, right? Yeah, I mean, so a song, I mean, to me, it's just sort of like still a rough outline of the kind of choices we're going to make musically. So, but yeah, luckily on our record, I think we captured some good moments of those tunes. So.
We talked a little bit about red headphones earlier.
Yep.
So let's address the other song that you
Yeah.
composed on the album, Bottles and Cans.
Well, yeah. I really don't know what to say about that song. It's kind of the one that got away from me. It really sounds pretty random. It's not a very pleasant song, I don't think. It definitely doesn't really follow any kind of format, although it's very thoroughly composed. And there is a section in that song that we were talking about earlier that is completely free and open, and maybe does get to that point where John Coltrane or Cecil Taylor got to, but it's a little bit, I would say, even more bombastic.
There's some heavy drum sections in that tune that are predetermined, and to me have a little bit of a Masada influence. Would you say that was part of the inspiration behind
And
it?
who's Masada?
Masada is one of John Zorn's groups, and they're pretty adventurous in their composition. That I do listen to a lot of that group, actually.
I would say that song reflects that.
It could have crept in there somehow. Yeah, I can't really recall what I was thinking of when I wrote the song, except I wanted something to not resolve or to sound like it fit in any kind of bar line. I just wanted it to sound kind of all over the place, but we still have to keep our place. We can't just throw caution to the wind and just play anything. So
I can speak.
Yeah, it's probably one of those.
As the melody instrument, or one of them on that tune, it's a challenging head to play, and it's been a fun one for us to work on as a band, for sure.
It definitely
And
makes
the improvised section is very, very open, and that's one of the places that we do go to that kind of free, anything goes.
It's sort of like the reward for making it through the first half of the song. You get to play whatever you want, and then you have to finish it though. That's the only problem. So hopefully, well, I know we're going to do that this weekend.
Okay, well, thank you guys. Why don't you give us one more plug for your show?
This Friday and Saturday, December 18th and 19th, we'll be at the Artist Quarter releasing our new album, Animal Progress. CDs are going to be just $10 at the release because we want you to come. We want you to have the album for a nice low price. We're also doing a Toys for Tots drive, so if you bring a new unwrapped toy to donate, we'll give you a few bucks off the CD. I guess